Greetings from Dystopia, episode 171. Crazy questions and crazy answers. I got quite a few questions in yesterday, mostly via the Facebook page. I'll link it in. Actually, it's linked on the YouTube page, so I don't need to link it in the comments or in the discussion below. Stopped at a train here, so let me... Shortwave radio, do you still listen? Do you still explore the bands, as he says? This is a friend of mine from Germany. Yeah, I still do every now and then. In fact, was it last Christmas? I think it was. My daughter bought me a really nice shortwave radio for Christmas. And then a few years back, she bought me a really nice Sony portable. Actually, I've had that one. Geez, V, when did you buy me that one? 10 years ago? Yeah, I still do. Not as often as I used to. Mostly right now because I don't have a decent antenna up outside. Hopefully I'll take care of that before winter gets here. And I know you're going to ask. I'll do a quick video on the receiver probably in the next couple days because I have to drag out a power supply. Because right now I've got that part of my desk taken apart and I don't have the power supply out, so I'll have to dig it out. But B thought ahead, and this one actually has a 12 volt input on it. Her joke was, I can put it in the car. You know, it's a sizable receiver. But yeah, it's pretty damn cool. So yeah, I'll do a separate video on that one. But yeah, I find like with news, BBC, I tend to listen online more now, and I guess that's the convenience of the times. But I do miss like Germany in the mid to late 80s, shortwave wise. I miss, BBC, the Voice of America, all of the big broadcasters like that. It was that was a hell of a time for shortwave radio, but we'll do a whole separate episode on that, just so I don't bore everybody to death, because it's kind of a captive audience. Did I find out what kind of a bird that was yesterday? No, I did not. However, looking online, it may well be a gray catbird chick. I posted it up in a couple wildlife groups and have not gotten a response back yet. It's not even been 12 hours since I posted it, so I'm not complaining about that. But I did find a lot of photos of gray catbirds as chicks, and there is either the dark beak or the light beak variant, but it doesn't explain the reddish brown on the wingtips. So hopefully somebody will come up that knows better. Same person asked, are you a birder by hobby, or is this something new? I'm definitely not a birder. I don't go out with binoculars and write down every sighting of a bird, but over the last couple of years I've gotten more of an interest in the birds I'm seeing. Before it was just, oh, that's a bird. Yeah, and? Well, now it's, oh, okay, that's a downy woodpecker, or that's, whatever. So yeah, that's a relatively recent thing over the last couple of years. I don't keep a checklist of birds that I've seen, although I probably should. I should check them off in my bird book or in the app. Do you speak German? You said you've lived there in several videos. How long and where did you live? Ich spreche kein Deutsch. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was du meinst. Yeah, I do speak German, although not as fluent as I once did, mostly because I just don't speak it. I did speak it at my last job fairly often, which was nice, but as always, it's never enough, right? said you lived there, how long and when? With the exception of a break for schools, I lived in Germany from 1985 to 1994. Again, I came back to the States for school, but went right back to Germany. Where did I live? First time, a little town called Siegelsbach. It's not too far from Heilbronn or Sinsheim. It's north of Stuttgart. The second time, I moved to Fischbach bei Dahn. Das liegt auf die französische Grenze. It's down on the French border. Pirmasens is the closest big city. Pirmasens is known as a shoe capital. The whole area is known for shoes. In fact, my neighbor did a lot of piecework at home for shoe manufacturing, so it's a pretty good, popular area. The third time, a little town called Erlensee. It was the next move. Erlensee is by Hanau, so east of Frankfurt or Offenbach. Not too far from the East German border, the Fulda Gap. So yeah, I lived there for quite a while. I loved it. Only once did I live in the barracks. The rest of the time I lived on the economy, so to speak. Long and where, I covered that. How did you learn all of this stuff? You seem to be a bit of a Renaissance man. You can do it all. No, I can't do it all. Far from it. I just like learning things. You know, some of it is things I've gathered over experience over years. The hiking, the camping, all of that stuff. But I'm not afraid to learn something new. Never have been. So, you know, some things I just can't grasp. Some things my brain can't manage, but other things seem to fit very well. The Renaissance man, huh? I kind of like that. That's a good compliment, whether you intended it or not. I love the song in the Go Watch This Piece segment. Okay, so from episode 170 with the flowers and the little chick. It's dreamy. Yeah, that one is pretty good. I do like that one. If I remember, I'll post up in the description for today the name of that song. I'm driving very slow here, so I'm not worried about it. The video quality suddenly got better. What happened? That is rolling back to the episode the other day where I was talking about bunk advice on YouTube. I followed somebody's advice on the best way to render video. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with my video. I could not figure out the quality, why it wasn't working. On a whim, I said, what if this guy gave me bad advice? What if he gave out some bunk advice? Before I finish this, let me qualify it with the rendered video on my computer looks really good. Now, I was filming, capturing at 4K 60 frames per second, rendering at 1080p 24 frames per second, because that was the advice I got. And like I said, rendered at 1080p 24 frames per second, it looks gorgeous on the computer. It's very smooth, it has a film-like quality, but it just doesn't work on YouTube. So no matter what somebody tells you, 24 frames per second does not work on YouTube. And I'm sure there's little tricks you can do to change it, but out of the box experience, it doesn't work. The quality is just, you've seen it. It's highly pixelated. I thought it was maybe my television, so I would stream, view them on YouTube on my computer. Same problem. I would view them on YouTube on my phone. Same problem. I even tried another smart TV. I tried a Roku. Same problem. And it may just be that the rendering on those devices is incapable of doing it. What I did the other day, I don't remember the episode, within the last 4 or 5 episodes, surely, I stopped rendering at 24 frames per second. I now do the final render at 1080p, 30 frames per second. And obviously you're noticing it. I was wondering if anybody noticed it or if it was just me, but clearly somebody's noticed. And yeah, I'm totally tickled with the difference. It's a phenomenal difference. All right, shortwave. What kind of bird it was? Am I a birder by hobby? Do I speak German? Where did I live? How did I learn all this stuff? The song. Video quality got better. What happened? What happened? So somebody, obviously it was a dramatic difference for them. And the other question was just on flours for the breads. I tend to use bread flour or wheat flour for the bread. I said my flour mix. What I'm using right now is a mix I did, like I said, almost a year ago. And it's bread flour with just a standard all-purpose flour mix. It was something I read on a bread blog that they had pretty good success with. And I do like it, but it almost comes out too glutinous. But we can, I'll do some bread videos over the winter, or starting later this fall, and we'll go into real detail on breads, things that I've learned. I'm not talking about 2 weeks worth of bread videos, just 1 or 2. I will do a video this week of the basic recipe for setting up the no-knead bread. There's tons of them on Facebook, but I've had 3 friends specifically ask that I do it because they don't understand some of the things that are going on in making it. And one of them is like, well, you just pour it in the bowl and leave it. No, don't. You need to mix it. But we'll talk about that in a video. Video comment, my daughter, so sweet, the little chick, and that I'm crazy. Anyways, probably me talking to the camera stuff like, what are you doing here? Go do something, I just did that to be silly. Anyway, I'm not bringing this camera. I'm going to bring the big camera out, and today I remembered my monopod mount. So yeah, I'll see you out on the trail. From the cool tips and tricks page, I learned a cool one on the Lumix group on Facebook. Inadvertently, I think, or was it? It may have been one of the wildlife groups, but the trick is use your sport focus mode, so the faster focusing on the camera, and then once you get it focused, switch it to manual focus, and then the focus doesn't switch and change around. So hopefully, if that works right, today's videos should be noticeably better. There's a lot of shake in the camera today because I'm using the monopod. I'm having to lean it at odd angles. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to use it. I almost wish it had a spike on the bottom of it rather than the rubber foot. So I may have to look at a way to manipulate that and actually put a spike on the bottom so I can drive it in the ground, and then it will allow me to tilt the monopod without it jumping all over the place. So I will dig around and look at that. Speaking of that, let me switch modes here. Change the camera around. I look down and here's this hole. Right there. Anybody home? Hello? Hello? I think that little bastard targeted me on purpose. Bird pooped on my head. Right down there on my shirt. You know, I was trying to be nice to you. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Just some random stuff while I'm out walking around. Bunch of photographs. Playing with the camera mostly, just trying to relearn it. It's been a while since I've actually had it in my hand, so having to play with it to get all the functions set back the way I want them and the way I like them. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be good, be well, wear a mask if you have to. Stay smart, be strong, stay mighty. Changed it up again. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.